and gentlemen, they are buffing your boy Thanos. Yes, indeed. As my voice dies off here, I wanted to make this video really quickly, just giving you guys the notice that Thanos will be updated and buffed based on the feedback and based on the reaction, and I'm assuming based on the lack of sales of this uniform. Now, that does not mean you should go out and buy the uniform. I know it's been almost a week since it was released, so we're probably getting to the end of the sale anyways. I don't actually even know if the sale is on, but I assume, like they did for Black Bolt, if they're going to buff him like they buffed Black Bolt a few months ago, they're going to extend the sale of his uniform. They may not extend the sale of like Squirrel Girl and Deadpool and Gwenpool, but they should extend the sale for Thanos. Now let me show you what this looks like. Thanos Wise Harvester Improvement Notice. Thanks for your interest and concerns towards the April Fool's Day uniform Thanos Wise Harvester. We are going to improve some skills of Thanos so that Thanos truly helps your journey with his new uniform. Listen, whoever wrote this is obviously taking the piss. It's fine. I don't know why they're being so, like, they're talking to us like we're fucking babies. I don't know what the deal is with this. He helps your journey. Bro, just make him strong, bro. Just make him strong. It's that simple. We are preparing to make the improvements through the 4.11 patch. So they don't give us a time frame in terms of like hours, but it's going to be happening today. So I was like staring at my computer. I'm like, man, what video should I make? You know, everyone's going to be talking about this Thanos thing. If I make a video about Thanos now, I'm going to have to make another video about Thanos. But if I don't make a video about Thanos, then everybody in the comments going to be like, Alex, why aren't you talking about Thanos? And I could have done the whole thing where it's like half the video is about Thanos and half the video about something else. But anyways, we're just gonna do this. This video is gonna be shorter, and then as soon as the Thanos update drops, if I'm home, I'm a little bit busy in the afternoon. But if I'm home when the Thanos update drops, I will immediately do a sort of re-review on him. To figure things out, because he was almost, like I said in my review, if you watched it, he's almost good enough right now. He's just missing a couple of things. He's missing a bit of damage on the PvE side, and he's missing like super armor and maybe one other thing on the PvP side. But yeah, if they do that, there's a good chance that this could be a very competitive uniform. Now, I still don't think, for those of you who want a little bit of negative reaction here, I still don't think that Thanos' uniform is going to be better than Jean Grey for PvP. And the simple reason for that is, unless they make insane changes to his like upgrades, unless they give him reflect or like 100% reflect reduction, or like, you know what I mean? Unless they give him reflect or a way to counter Jean's reflect or a revive, like unless they give him some sort of game-breaking ability, he's still missing so many abilities that Jean has. And yeah, it doesn't make sense. What I'm guessing is that they're just going to make him stronger for PvE, so that he's probably as good or better than Black Bolt for PvE as a universal villain, and that he is clearly better than Loki for ABL. I think that was probably the biggest reason. Like, this uniform is 2 years old. There's no reason this uniform should be competing with Thanos. There's just no logical reason, right? There's none. There's no reason why. So yeah, I'm not saying they should nerf Loki, of course, but Thanos should at tier 4. He should obliterate Loki in ABL. There's no question about it. So yeah, that's basically it for that. However, I have also been talking to people on Discord, and I have also been seeing people reactions in the community. A lot of people are happy about this because Thanos is one of the main villains and sort of one of the main central characters in the Marvel universe, not just in the MCU, like in the comics universe. You know, Thanos is one of the, if not the most popular villain next to like Galactus or something like that, right? So he deserves to have a permanent place in the game. Now, unfortunately, it's with a uniform that's never on sale except for a week a year, and it's 2,500 crystals. So the circumstances with which you obtain his uniform are obviously frustrating and FOMO inducing. But as far as his power level goes, he should be, you know, he like Pedro said in his video, he should be shoulder to shoulder with gods, not with men, right? If Thanos is getting bodied by 2-year-old uniforms and lesser characters, it just doesn't make sense. Now, You can make the argument that does every Marvel character exactly represent their value 100%? No. And we've talked about it in several videos why that's a good thing, right? Because if Molecule Man accurately represented his powers, he would be dominating the game, and he's one of the most expensive and one of the most annoying characters to get because he's the final step in the epic quest. He's basically Jean Grey, right? Besides the tier 4 and besides the uniform. So he's actually cheaper than Jean Grey, but you know, she's been out for a lot longer, and Phoenix Feathers, yada yada yada, etc etc. But yeah, so you know, I think for the most part, right, MFF does do a good job of balancing characters so that they are whereabouts they need to be based on the following two factors. People get confused. They think it's just about one factor. It's about two factors. One, it's their power level in the Marvel universe. I think that is a balancing factor. Two, it's the way that they're obtained in game, right? So they balance this in multiple ways. On the one hand, as an exclusive uniform, he should be powerful, right? I know that upsets some people who can't afford him or don't spend money or whatever, but as an exclusive uniform, as a limited time uniform, he should be powerful, because what are they going to do? Buff him in 6 months like they did with Storm? Buffing Storm 6 months later doesn't do anything because you can't go back and buy the uniform. You can't go back in time. You're going to have to wait another 6 months for it to be back on sale, right? Which is stupid. So they should make sure they, like, the first pass for exclusive uniforms should be the final product, right? It shouldn't be a work in progress. The second reason they balance them based on their acquisition is to make sure that they're not too strong, right? To make sure that they're not too strong, because we've seen what happens when one uniform or one character that's very difficult to obtain dominates the game for too long. But by and large, when you look at the characters here that are native tier 2 that are hard to get, most of these characters are not meta. And although they cycle back into the meta every time they get a uniform, it's usually not for an extremely long period of time. Take, for example, you know, Doctor Strange. Take, for example, you know, Scarlet Witch, etc. Like, they have their time, they're very good, and then they get replaced. It's this cycle of renewal, which is good for the game. And not to mention the fact that we have a lot of good, if not the most that we've ever had, very good quote-unquote free-to-play uniforms, right? The fact that Loki, a 2-year-old uniform that's less than half the cost of Thanos' uniform, is better than him, that's completely imbalanced, right? That would be like a 2-year-old uniform for a PvP character being better than Spider-Man tier 4 in PvP. Show me a uniform that's 2 years old that's better than Spider-Man in PvP. There isn't any. I mean, you could get cute with like, oh, but Luke Cage can counter Spider-Man. I mean, sometimes he can, but he's not just straight up better, right? He's not straight up better. There are some situations where this happens for sure, but overall, I do think the devs do a good job of balancing characters around these two principles. And I think the outrage from people who are like, oh, Thanos' uniform shouldn't be strong, I think they're just sort of, it's sort of like jealousy combined with a very flimsy logical argument about the game being free-to-play friendly. The game, by and large, is still very free-to-play friendly. And yeah, you know, if you don't have Thanos, that's okay. You can still compete in most content. I mean, I don't have him tier 4. I'm fine right now, you know? And there will always be a better character coming down the road, right? I'm sure in 6 months, they're going to release a character that's as good or better than Thanos anyways, right? Especially with the advent of tier 4, they have to make a new tier 4s better because that's their main revenue driver. And I think people forget that the revenue is, you know, for better and for worse, for worse, the most important thing to the game's continued existence, right? So yeah, I don't think Thanos being stronger is going to make free-to-plays quit the game. I mean, if they didn't quit with her, if they didn't quit after Jean, why would they quit after Thanos? There's no way Thanos is going to be more toxic than Jean in PvP because you have to kill Jean twice, and 2 Jeans is obviously worse than 1 Thanos. So yeah, with that, my math lesson is done. Hit me up in the comments down below. Let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching. I look forward to the very lively and respectful conversations and discussions, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.